Bring in Tinko Weibezahl. He is with the German think tank Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung based in the Ivory Coast. Thanks for taking time to talk to us on Focus on Africa. We'll talk about Ethiopia in just a moment. But for those who are curious about Germany's interest on the continent, what would you say it is?
Well, Africa has long been neglected for too long, if you ask me, and I think it's high time that Europe and Germany as well, of course, are taking an interest in Africa, and the problems are evident. There's a growing number of refugees from Subsahara-Afrika. There is a fast-growing population, and it's high time that the German government and also the entire of Europe takes a stronger interest in Africa.
So specifically, this particular three-country tour focused on issues migration and issues development. Are these the things that will curb migration into Europe, do you think?
Well, certainly the German Chancellor hopes so, and she has offered a package of assistance for the reform in the security sector, also classical instruments of development aid, and a partnership to provide the people in Africa with an opportunity to make a living, to keep them from going on the dangerous route to the Mediterranean, where they might drown and maybe not find the life they expected in Europe. So I think these three countries were chosen on purpose, very carefully, and I think it was the right choice.
But how do you measure, or how do you create jobs and opportunities for a growing population like Africa? This is going to be very tricky, don't you think?
Well, I agree. I mean, Africa might have 2 billion people, 2 billion inhabitants by 2050. Right now we have 1 billion and a bit. And it is a very hard challenge, and the German Chancellor said so. And we all know that it's going to be tough, and it needs the strong cooperation of the governments of countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, which is not self-evident, and many countries are not functioning so well. So I think it might be the toughest challenge that Europe has to face within the next few years.
All right, let's move on to Ethiopia. Does it surprise you at all that the Chancellor is willing to help or has chosen to visit Ethiopia? And on the one hand, the government is being accused of being heavy-handed.
Well, it's not surprising, because Ethiopia, or Addis Ababa, is the headquarters of the African Union, and the African Union is a vital partner when it comes to dealing with Africa as a whole, as the European Union is for Europe. That's why she visited the country. And she has made a clear point towards the government of Ethiopia to grant freedom, or as she put it, the freedom to protest to its people. But Ethiopia itself is an important player, and as headquarters of the African Union, it is probably the most important player in Africa.
All right, Tinko Weibezahl, thank you for your thoughts. Thank you.